It's football time, baby. What is up? What's going on, people? Mike Wright, Mike the Fantasy Hitman from the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. The first Sunday live of the season. The energy in this room went from 0 to 100 in a matter of seconds. Unbelievable. I cannot express how excited I am to go sit in front of our 9 giant televisions and watch some freaking football. It's football time. It's fantasy football time. And you know the drill if you've been here before. But let's welcome in the new listeners, the new viewers. Hey, how you doing? I'm Mike. I'm Mike for the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Sunday Live. Here's what we do on this live stream program. I bring you the biggest news of the morning. Somehow week one we have like a buttload of news, which is just absolutely ridiculous, but it's fine. We will take it. We will roll with these punches. We will move forward the best that we possibly can. So I get to the biggest news, then I start breaking down some of these start-sit questions that people have. But let's get into the news. Okay. Here we are. Okay, Miles Sanders is out, running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. That was a couple days ago. So great. Guess what? Your second-round pick is not playing week one. That's right. We're moving forward. What are we going to do with this information? Boston Scott, Andy's taking it to 100 player, which Andy, I guess went full crystal ball here of Miles Sanders not playing. But Boston Scott gets a drastic bump up. Corey Clement will also be there. However, the Philadelphia Eagles will be without 3 starting offensive linemen if you count the injuries from the preseason. And they will be going up against a very hungry Washington defensive line, anchored, of course, by the second pick of the NFL draft, Chase Young. So I'm not overly bullish on what's going to happen for this Philadelphia passing game. If you got to pick one, it's Boston Scott. The guy should come down with some receptions, and he's going to need that. David Montgomery is going to play. I am anticipating his full allotment of work. He has gotten in at least a couple days of practice. This is not a situation where he's just fly-by-night going to make it into the lineup. So I am starting him in the places that I have him with not full confidence, but I feel pretty good about David Montgomery and his opportunity. Kenny Golladay. Let's just keep rolling with the bad news so far. Kenny Golladay is out. I mean, I guess it's good news because you could be the Mike Evans side of things. At least when you got Kenny Golladay, who you drafted very early, you know that you have to move on without him. You are prepared for the weekend, and it is not a Mike Evans game time decision in the afternoon. What is happening week one? What are you doing to us? A game time decision in the afternoon already? Fine. Here we go. Fantasy football at its best in week one. What are you doing with Mike Evans? What am I doing with Mike Evans? I'm not playing him. I am not going to find myself in week one in an afternoon puddle. I have melted upon the ground as, one, I find out either Mike Evans is not even going to be active and now I have no backup plans, or two, he is going to be limited as, look, the guy went from doubtful to, okay, we think he's going to play. This is not a player that I have confidence in. The matchup was already pretty difficult for him to begin with. A 100% Mike Evans put up a 0 in this matchup last year. So it was already going to be difficult for him, which means to me I'm not playing Mike Evans. I'm trying to find that pivot point. Hopefully you got the depth on your bench that you can withstand a week while they let Mike Evans do whatever it is he's going to do. The same thing for Kenny Golladay. Courtland Sutton, he is, in fact, a game-time decision. Not playing Courtland Sutton either. Look, I'm not dancing with the devil with Mike Evans on an afternoon game. I am certainly not going to join him in the pale moonlight on Monday, on a Monday Night Football game where you have absolutely no options then besides throwing Tim Patrick, Deshaun Hamilton into your lineup. Look, no. Avoid that nonsense. Don't get with it. avoid at all costs. The other bigger news pieces of the day, to me, Jarvis Landry. Now, this is interesting because it was shocking and not shocking all at the same time. So here's the quick back history of Jarvis Landry heading through the offseason. The man had some hip surgery, as one is to do during the offseason. We all love a good hip surgery. Al Borland loves a good hip surgery, don't you, Al?
Had mine this morning.
So are you active after your I guess you are because you're here.
Oh, yeah.
Look, this Jarvis Landry character. I mean, what an absolute wimp.
Don't expect much, though.
So Jarvis Landry had the hip surgery. The timeline was Jarvis Landry may not be ready for the season. That was the general regular medical timeline for the procedure that he had. All of a sudden, training camp hits. He's not even on the PUP for the active PUP for training camp. He's just there. He's just participating. Everything is all systems go, seemingly for Jarvis Landry, until, of course, week 1, because week 1 is just bringing us all of the thunder, all of the noise that it possibly can. And it was reported that Jarvis Landry may, in fact, be on a snap count. Now, when he is out there, they're going to be throwing. So he's still going to see some targets. But if you can avoid playing Jarvis Landry this week, I would probably go with that. I guess the only real other player where you were questioning can you play him or not, it would be N'Keal Harry from the New England Patriots. He is in. He's going to play. Probably not playing him. And then Mike Williams, he is playing for the Chargers. That was quite the roller coaster of emotions following Mike Williams, seeing it happen in Hard Knocks, to he's going to miss a few weeks, to he might play week 1, and back to, he's definitely not playing, to he is playing. I think we even had reporter on reporter crime with Adam Schefter yesterday saying that Mike Williams was going to be out, only to be counterpunched by Ian Rappaport saying, no, au contraire, my friend. Mike Williams is going to play. So Mike Williams is going to play. You're not playing him in fantasy football. So those are the big storylines. The Cowboys, or I should say, Cowboys, Rams, and San Francisco, Arizona, there was a little, whispers from the bushes that they may have to postpone because of air quality. They're playing over in California. All the fires are going on. Please stay safe, everybody, from the insanity that is happening over there. But in football terms, we had to wait till today to monitor the air quality. As far as I know, it's all systems go for those games. They are within the reasonable levels of air quality. I don't know. Look, not an air quality expert over here. I have my lane, and it is not involving the quality of the air that we must breathe. Al, where's your expertise on air quality?
It's pretty low.
As in, the air quality is low? Or
no, my expertise is very low.
All right. So those are the big news blurbs of the day, which means that we are now going to get into the start-sit questions. I mean, week 1 is its own beast. I know that there's definitely some situations here, mostly involving Boston Scott, guys like that. So you know what? Before I get into start-sits, I'm just going to talk about Boston Scott real quick, where I have him. Right now I have him sitting, as a fringe RB2. Right now he is at 19 for me. Things are going to fluctuate, trust me, before the kickoff actually happens. But right now, that's where he is sitting. So that means I will take the chance in a half or full point PPR scoring system. I'm going to play him over the rookie Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to play him over Melvin Gordon. I will play him over Marlon Mack as well. So that's the type of player, that tier that I am willing to play Boston Scott over. I'm not going to go crazy for Boston Scott because I think that Corey Clement still will be involved. He is a very seasoned veteran in this offense. And on top of that, the offensive line versus the defensive line, it is a situation. Marvin Jones, look, we love Marvin Jones on this show. This is, in fact, a pro Marvin Jones podcast. If you've been listening to us for any amount of time, Marvin Jones, Deshaun Jackson, wide receiver values in every single draft. You lock that in. Because of moments like this, when Kenny Golladay is out, Marvin Jones is the number one. Matthew Stafford is not afraid in the slightest to feed his number one wide receiver, Danny Amendola, who, look, we all like Danny Amendola. He's a good guy. He just seems like a good football player when he plays. But guess who's banged up? Danny Amendola. Surprise, surprise. Here we are. So the bigger bump goes to Marvin Jones. It also goes to TJ Hockenson. So Hockenson has not really been a tight end I've been very bullish on over the offseason. The injury stuff that he is going through. Just is there enough targets for, Amendola, Marvin Jones, Kenny Golladay, those three. So wasn't very bullish on him over the offseason, but this is a matchup that I think you can get behind TJ Hockenson. If you waited, you took your tight end late, you're not feeling the guy that you have in there, I think Hockenson is worth he's worth a desperation play. He could also be worth maybe you throw him on the end of your bench, hope for another week one explosion, and then you have a trade piece of someone else in your league who is in fact disappointed with their tight end, the output they are getting. Let's get into the questions. Here we go. Fire Destroyer wants to know Kareem Hunt or Antonio Gibson. All right. Firestarter, perhaps not the best name to go to these days, but we're going to pretend that this guy really likes Prodigy. You guys remember Prodigy? Man, that hit EDM band back from like the 90s. That's what we're talking about here. So this is a tough one. Antonio Gibson, I have him just outside of my RB2s. Bryce Love is inactive. That's only a positive for Antonio Gibson. That means we're talking about Gibson, J.D. McKissick, old smooches, give me a smooch, and Peyton Barber. I think Antonio Gibson's already the best player in that backfield now, for sure. But let's see how it plays out with the coaches. Kareem Hunt is known. The player is known. His role in this offense is still very unknown. Kevin Stefanski came out, puffed up his chest, and said, I will be calling plays for the Cleveland Browns. They're going to be very run-heavy. That's how they're going to have to win. I have Antonio Gibson just a couple spots ahead. I'm taking the chance on the rookie. Oh, man, Antonio Gibson, I really hope you are good. This one comes in from Chris. Chris Blessy wants to know James Conner or Nick Chubb. That's James Conner. James Conner is one of my favorite running backs of the week. I believe it was Jason's start of the week. Somebody on the podcast had him. He's taken on the Giants. He's been declared yet again the bell cow of this team by Coach Mike Tomlin. I think James Conner is going to have a massive game here. The New York Giants defense is not scary. Their offense against the Steelers defense should not be scary. Very positive game script. I like James Conner more than most running backs. He is number 7 for me right now. Like, this is borderline top 5 situation. So there are not many running backs that I'm playing over James Conner. That is not a negative Nick Chubb take. It is just a very pro James Conner. Thomas wants to know A.J. Green or Marvin Jones. That is a spectacularly difficult question I really like Marvin Jones. A.J. Green. What do we make of A.J. Green? The triumphant return of A.J. Green. How long has it been since we've seen him on a football field? I know it's more than a calendar year. Brooks, can you look up what week A.J. Green was out in 2018? I think we saw him for like half a season. So we're talking, it's been a good year and a half since we've seen A.J. Green on a football field. On top of that, he is dealing with a rookie, and it's not the easiest matchup against the defense for A.J. Green. Man, you know what? I'm going to play Marvin Jones in this situation. I do think if you need to throw a haymaker and you want someone who can really set the world on fire. Goodness, all these fire analogies. I apologize. What is happening? This is a very difficult thing when you talk about fire a lot. But A.J. Green would have the ceiling. So if you need to go for it, go A.J. Green. I think that Marvin Jones has a very safe floor and a good ceiling as well. So that would lead me to believe that I'm probably playing Marvin Jones in that situation. Next question is coming in from Noah, who said T.J. Hockenson or Hayden Hurst. I still have Hayden Hurst ranked much higher than I do T.J. Hockenson. I feel very confident in the volume for Hayden Hurst. He's going to get his opportunities. He's playing Seattle. Seattle hemorrhaged points to the tight end position. Now, they do have Jamal Adams. That's a massive upgrade when you're talking about having to play against the tight end. Jamal Adams is a dude who can get that job done. But you know what Matt Ryan's going to do? He's going to target the tight end. So I'm going to go with Hayden Hurst here. He's not a low enough option that I'm going to pivot to, that picking up Hockenson off the waiver wire and throwing him into my lineup over my starter. All right. Next question coming in from you, Travel. LeVeon Bell or Devin Singletary? I like this question. Okay. Same matchup, which that's really actually not that interesting. I was going to try and make it sound interesting, but it's not. Devin Singletary plus matchup versus the New York Jets. LeVeon Bell, negative situation, positive for his receiving, of course, but a negative situation because the Buffalo Bills are a much better team than the New York Jets. I'm sorry, Jets fans. But anyways, so who am I starting? I'm starting LeVeon Bell. I understand everyone's concern with do we have Adam Gase on this board here? Nah, I can't find him fast enough. But is Adam Gase the beehole?
Number 2.
Oh, did you pull that up back there? Look, our production team, he said he had hip surgery and that we should not expect anything, but that was sensational work from the production team. So Adam Gase, number 2. Like, I'm still playing LeVeon Bell. I'm still playing him with most confidence. Devin Singletary scares the crap out of me, though. I don't know what's going to happen with Buffalo. There's been reports all over the place on this backfield. Very positive for Zach Moss. Not so great for Devin Singletary. You're talking about he's got the itis. He has the fumble-itis these days. Zach Moss definitely does not have that. Zach Moss has a strong receiving game. He's the bigger prototypical guy. They didn't go to Devin Singletary on the goal line. They kept going over and over and over to Frank Gore, who kept failing over and over and over, and they still did not go to Devin Singletary. I'm concerned. I mean, if you can play Devin Singletary at all, this is the matchup, week 1. But if I got LeVeon Bell, I'm not even concerned about that decision. I'm going to go with LeVeon Bell. Ben Comp, he's got a question, a quarterback question here. Big Ben, Cam Newton, or Matthew Stafford? Oh, man, that is an absolute brutal question. Ben Stafford. I just fused him into one quarterback. If you can do that, you should do that. That would be a lot of points. Ben Roethlisberger, fresh off his injury. Cam Newton, brand new team. We don't even know what the deal is with him yet, how it's going to look with the offense. Stafford somehow feels like the safest, but I like James Conner because I like the matchup against the Giants. Ipso facto, I like Ben Roethlisberger. I think he's going to have an excellent game where you can count on him for maybe he's not going to hit the ceiling this week, but 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, that seems very, very reasonable when you're making out a projection here for Ben Roethlisberger. So that's the direction I would go if I was choosing between all 3 of those guys. Next question is from that last question was difficult a little bit, so we're going to go to a layup. Michael from YouTube wants to know, Kenyan Drake or Kerryon Johnson? Kenyan Drake, my man. This must be a situation where someone is concerned about the foot. don't look. We like just throwing in a hip surgery here. We also like a precautionary boot. I'm wearing 2 of them right now. That's why they're under the desk. But my feet are protected, precautionary style, but they are protected. It's Kenyan Drake, man. The matchup on paper is difficult for Kenyan Drake, but I'm not overly concerned about that. I am going to play Kenyan Drake with full confidence. Going to jump into the next question here, but a quick reminder, shout out to our sponsors, Pristine Auction, the best sports memorabilia site of all time. It's barely there. You can't see it, but that's a signed Juju Smith-Schuster jersey that I think we pulled that down a couple years ago for like 70 bones. That's all it cost us to get an authentic signature of Juju. They put it on these incredible jerseys, and then you got a historic piece that you can throw up on the walls of wherever you have walls. You got a wall? You want to make it look better? Put a signed Juju jersey on there. But Pristine Auction, you can use the code BALLERS. It's completely free to make an account. It's free to bid. But when you make that account, you want $10 off your first purchase? The code is BALLERS. Next question here is for, Raheem Nitro. He's got a little my guy versus my guy situation for me. Terry McLaurin or DJ Chark. Man, I love both of these players. I like Terry McLaurin just a little bit more than I like DJ Chark this week. The Eagles, I'm very interested in this Washington versus Philadelphia matchup, not because there is a lot on the line here for this guy when it comes to Antonio Gibson coming through in week 1. But when I signed up for our office pool, Washington was spotting 6.5 points, and that's now seems pretty wild. It's like if I had to do a Mike's almost upset of the week, I think I would pick Washington. So I've got all eyes on this game. I like Terry McLaurin. Week 1, we saw what happened last year when the rookie really broke out, fully established. The reports on Dwayne Haskins have been very glowing. He's improved. Alex Smith is inactive, so you don't have that kind of shadow staring you down where he's not worried about Alex Smith coming in. I'm going to play Terry McLaurin. Meanwhile, I still like DJ Chark, but the matchup with the Colts, it's not really my favorite thing in the entire world. And when I can play Terry McLaurin, that's a very good option. All right, let's get into the weeds with Todd here. Malcolm Brown or Chris Thompson? This one is near and dear to my heart. I like these diving deep questions. I'm playing Chris Thompson. The situation in Jacksonville, if you're paying attention to the actives and inactives, look, it's James Robinson for Jacksonville. James Robinson, Chris Thompson, and then some undrafted player. I can't even recall his name off the top of my head. I apologize. I'm sure he's a splendid human being. Dare Ngubawale, he's not active. Divine Ozigbo, he is not active. This is the James Robinson and the Chris Thompson show. I'm expecting a very negative game script for the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Colts. That would be Chris Thompson time. Chris Thompson could come down with, 4+ receptions in this matchup. Malcolm Brown certainly could get the goal line work. That's what you're hoping happens. But you have Cam Akers there who, look, the hot hand could be Cam Akers. He's a very good player. Malcolm Brown is fine, but Cam Akers is a very, very good running back. The hot hand could be his. He could take over the backfield, and then Malcolm Brown is doing nothing. Meanwhile, Chris Thompson will not be phased out of this matchup. I'm going with him. I'm starting Chris Thompson in the Footballers League of Record. He is my Miles Sanders backup option. Miles Sanders is out if you're joining us late, and I will be going with Chris Thompson. So if you want to go on that ride with me, put him in your lineup. Let's ride with Chris Thompson together. All right, a couple more questions before we shut this thing down and get into some real football. Maybe we'll do some rapid fire here. Christian says Bell or Taylor in standard. I understand the standard may change things a little bit, but still, I'll let the rookie prove it. versus LeVeon Bell, meaning I'm playing LeVeon Bell. Man Lab. I like that's a funny name to me. Man Lab wants to know Keenan Allen or Tyler Lockett. Oh, that's a very difficult question for the rapid round, and I'm going to go with Tyler Lockett. I do have him ranked a couple spots higher than Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen freshly suited with the bag. I believe he will be playing with pure gold socks and pure gold cleats. If he doesn't, I'll be a little bit disappointed. But I'm going to go with Tyler Lockett there. The situation for both of them is, it's fine for both of them. So I don't have any. I'm going to play Tyler Lockett. Moving on. When you get stuck, you're like, I've got a point to make, but I'm also reading questions at the exact same time, and then you just find yourself stammering about absolutely nothing. Al Borland, has that ever happened to you?
Nah, I stay behind the scenes.
Cool, bro. Thanks for bailing me out on that one. Well, if you ever find yourself in that situation, just say, next question. That's the best way to dig yourself out. And the next question is going to be from Easton, who says, Odell Beckham or Marvin Jones. All right. This one is interesting because, I've already talked about Marvin Jones at length, but Odell Beckham, here's where we are making the decision on Odell Beckham. Was he hurt last year? We know that is yes, but the question is, the downturn in play from Odell Beckham, was it the injury, something else, a combination of different things? I'm putting my chips on it was the injury. He's playing the Baltimore Ravens. That is not a plus matchup. But Odell Beckham, old Odell Beckham, back from the Giants, it doesn't matter what the matchup is. You are starting Odell Beckham no matter what. I'm going to give him the week 1 benefit of the doubt, and I am starting Odell Beckham, and I'm going to see if that magic actually exists. I'm going to let him prove to me that the magic is gone, that he is now just an average fantasy player, like a wide receiver too. But that will be up to him. I am going to start him. I am going to ride with Odell Beckham. All right, last couple questions here. Jason wants to know Jared Cook, or Hunter Henry in a PPR. Okay, because of the PPR, this makes it pretty easy. I'm going to go with Hunter Henry. He should see, plenty of targets in this matchup. I know Mike Williams is active. Wink, wink. I'm not really trusting him to be out there and really producing for this team. So that makes Hunter Henry the number 2 option. So I'm going to roll with Hunter Henry in the PPR. And then the final question of Week 1's Sunday Live of 2020. Jimmy, AJ Green, Alan Lazard, a.k.a. the Lazard King, or, my rookie crush, Bryan Edwards from the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to remove Alan Lazard. As much as I like this guy, I want him to break out. My dynasty team really wants him to break out. I'm going to remove him from the equation, and now it's just AJ Green or Bryan Edwards. I do like Bryan Edwards a lot in this matchup. I like Bryan Edwards to be that week 1 surprise rookie, but it's AJ Green, man. I know Green hasn't been on the field for quite some time, but when he's on the field, he has been elite. Joe Burrow looks like he's going to be a mighty fine quarterback in the NFL. I'm going to roll with AJ Green. If that one is wrong, that's just a situation where you look in the mirror and say, I'm willing to be wrong on this one. If a rookie in his first game balls out more than AJ Green, look, that's just – it happens. I'm going with AJ Green. I'm going to take the known stud. I'm going to go with the safer play here. That's going to do it for Sunday Live. Ladies and gentlemen, Week 1. Get your butts in the couches. Get the snacks at arm's reach. Remember to stay hydrated. Stay safe. Guys, do you have anything that you want to put in? Do you want to share? Brooks, I'm throwing it to you. Brooks, share your excitement for Week 1.
Woo!
I didn't get an oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Signing off for the team, Al Borland, Judge Giamatti. I'm Mike, the Fantasy Hitman Wright for the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. We will see you tomorrow on the podcast. Good luck, and remember, keep it beautiful. Mwah.